So many amps. So many amps. All right. SA98E, SA160, and A2. All SMSL, all 2-channel, except for this has a subwoofer output, but it's a pass-through line out, so really it doesn't matter. This one has a headphone amp built in, or at least a headphone reduction so that you could use a headphone. This one is plain Jane. This has a secondary line out, line in, tone controls, and a sub out. This is the cheapest one, by the way. Now, are we hooking them all up? I think we're going to hook them all up. So, you're here to probably see the A2. A2 is the cheapest. A2's got the most features. Let's talk about the A2. It says 55 watts a channel, but that's with 10% distortion. That's like all T-amps. They're all super high distortion when you actually use their rated amount. So that's a good reason to look for a heavy, high amp, 160 watts per channel, these claim. Alright? And you'll never take them there, ever. But what that does mean is that at like 50, 60 watts, they're clean. At 50 watts, this is dirty as hell. But how much wattage do you actually need? Here in front of me on these speakers, which I have hooked up with the wire, is a set of Burchard S300s. They're an $1,100 set of Swedish-made speakers, and they sound amazing. And they're pretty inefficient. You need to push a little bit of power into them. So let's do that. Yeah, that's fine. I wasn't anywhere near the top. And I can't play a lot of music or this video will just disappear from all your mobile devices. So we're actually here. You're here for me to say, does this sound clean and good? Yes. Is it powerful enough to push most speakers on your desk? Yes. Okay, let's look at features. So I've got the Cohen M2 here going into the, turn the screen on. Look, it spins. Going into the line in the front. Now, it's all digital. So you get digital power button, you get the digital volume control with a push button, and that does all the other options. So if I want to switch from, now the computer's set and paused, if I want to switch, I do quick press. And now we're talking about this. This is what's outputting. Pause that now. So switch back to the computer, quick press. The three light LED indicators here are standby, input, and tone. And that's it. It's very dim. So input is red for the front, which is called 1. And when you press it, blue for the back, which is called 2. And number 2 is full RCA. Next to the full RCA here is a 3.5 millimeter sub output. Now, most of you aren't going to go looking for a mono RCA wire. So if you just have a 3.5 to RCA, which is essentially what this is, that will also work. Just plug that right in there. And it doesn't cut off frequencies from the speakers. Some amplifiers, I know the Griffin 20 did that, where you plug a subwoofer in and it sort of removes the low end from the speakers and only sends it to the sub. Well, this won't do that. This is just going to add it on. So it's convenient, but it's not a true sub out. You could do the same thing by running the speaker wires through the pass-through. And then you have 5-way binding posts, which I'm using these heavy ass wires that I made. And here's your power transformer right here. 19 volt, 5 amp. My wires might be too stiff. Ugh. Been a while since I've done a speaker amp. Been a long while. Oh God. Probably unpause all the things. Now the subwoofer's on. And so I was wrong. It's red for input 2, blue for input 1. Which is good. I like red. I like looking at an amp and saying, oh, it's just got red on. Oh. Oh, no, 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 that's this. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Tone controls. I'm going to unplug this now for a second, guys, if you don't mind. The way the tone controls work on this... Oh. Okay. The way the tone controls work on this, and I know I'm going to unplug the sub, it works. That is not allowed right now. To a bitter end. Alright. To access the tone controls, you press this. The light moves down. The little red light moves down. When it's red, and it went back up. When it's red, you're controlling bass. So, can I get a song that's never going to get me pulled? It's going to be hard. We'll just continue with Marilyn Manson. Down, tone. Bass. Alright. Hit it again. The light turns blue. Now you're controlling treble. High. Now, if you've adjusted only one, either bass or treble, the tone light will remain that color, and then input will go back on and you'll know that you're running. So right now it's purple because I adjusted bass and treble. So if the tone light is red, you've adjusted bass. If the tone light is just blue, you've adjusted just treble. If the tone light is purple, you've adjusted both. Want to reset it, you hold this down, it goes off, now we're back to flat. Thank God. You really shouldn't be using tone controls unless you have terrible speakers or very specific needs. And the tone controls do affect like the sub output. So I've got a 15-inch rhythmic sub down here. It does not need bass. Actually, I wonder if I can lower the bass with that plugged in. Something I can play with next video. But that's the way this works. You want to shut it off, you hold the power button, light goes up to standby, it's off. Honestly, leaving it on, it's so little draw. If nothing's playing, there's so little draw that I almost wouldn't bother shutting it off. It doesn't even get warm. The power supply, if you're running for really hard, it might get warm. Let's disconnect things. This got a pretty good, solid run through. Don't you fall. I love that sound. Don't you love that sound of failures happening? You'll notice that it's pretty small compared to like the SA60, SA160, boom. I mean, it's exact same shape and knob. It's just about an inch, 7/8 of an inch less. There is a weight difference though. This is heavy. I can't tell which one of these is heavier. These have, I don't know what's in them. In fact, I might have to look up a picture of the insides. These are heavy. Let's hook up the, here's the thing, they're identical. One's just called the 98, one's called the 160. They have the same specs. They take the same power. This one just happens to have a headphone amplifier. Well, let's plug this in anyway, because why not? Now I was running my big JBL towers with this with no problem. It was just insane. The only problem with these two amps, again, stiff wires. Here's the A2's power supply, right? So the A2 with its power brick. Here are the 160 and the 198. Go fuck yourself, is what these say. These are literally bricks. We're not joking about being a power brick anymore. It's like you could get this, paint it red, and it'll be a brick. So, what was this one? 19 volt, 5.3 amp. 36 volt, 4 amp. Both of them are identical. Which is interesting that they're both identical, and I labeled them with my label maker because I didn't want to get them confused, even though they're identical. Because this says 36 volt, and this says 32 to 36 volt. That's the only difference on of these units, is the headphone output, and this has 1 voltage, and this one claims is a voltage swing of 4. So don't tell me, well, tell me, but don't ask me why that is. I don't know. You only need to plug one of these in. Thank God. Ugh. This is inconveniently big. So, oh look, tiny amps. The reason these amps are tiny is because that doesn't have to exist inside the chassis. The A2 could have just a power plug to the wall. It'd be this much bigger. But if you wanted something with as much power as these have, this much bigger. Oh God. Oh, just like all SMSL amps, when you plug it in, it may spark. Again, that's a feature. These are all made in China. Fireworks are a celebration. Pop. Volume down. Power indicator is red here, and there's blue behind the... Can I pull that off? No, I don't want to pull that off. Blue behind the ring, which you don't see, so I'm okay with it. It's sort of like... That's cute. And then a red indicator, which actually gets really subdued when you're not looking at it. Oh, Jesus, these are powerful. Yeah, because I'm assuming I took the A2 up to like 75-80% of its maximum. Meanwhile, if I turn the 98, it's unbearably loud at 10 o'clock. Unbearably loud. That's insane amounts of power. There's no speaker you can buy that this won't power, because it's 160 watts per channel at 4 ohm. Most of these amps like this will claim at 8 ohm, which is the easier to drive thing, but T-amps are very special in that they actually prefer a harder to drive speaker. So the fact that this is just like barely turning. You know, it's very even too. I didn't notice that before, that usually, because these are analog knobs and that's a digital knob, when it's a digital volume, usually the left and right channel are perfect. Digital volume, perfect. But when you have an analog knob, sometimes the left channel will creep on or the right channel will creep on just early. And if you're real low, you'll hear one and you have to keep raising it and then you'll hear the other. But this is right on. I can't possibly turn this to 12 o'clock. I can't do it. I can't possibly turn that to 12 o'clock. All right, shut it off for a second. I'm gonna use the same power supply because I don't need to have multi-brick discounts. Let's get to the 160 and we'll see if the headphone out makes this worth the extra. Hold on, I have the prices here. That's Ventrilo. No, I don't want that. Go away. Support on Patreon, because I always forget to say it in every video. Join the Telegram, join the Discord, join the IRC. Any of those if you like. Or none of them. None of them, you go to hell. Alright, yeah, okay. The 98, which is just speaker amp, is $100. And the not prime 160, at least it isn't prime at the time of this video, is $133. So we're going to add $33 to that amp, and we're going to give it a headphone now. Let's see if that's worth it. Plug is out. Left channel. Oh God, that noise. Some AMRS stuff going on. Convenient. All right. Let's see if I can get the spark on camera. You hear it, you don't see it. Volume down. A2, $84 prime shipped. Can't go wrong. Next, let's get Tom Petty off. Yeah, just 9 o'clock.
The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of your life.
Yeah, that was noon. That was noon on this. And I guess I got to call out that on the silver one, the black one at least you could sort of see the indicator of where that notch is. When you go with the silver face, it's sort of like, where is it? Is it where? Is it where? Oh, there it is. So you may want to get something. Vajazzle bead and put it right there. So I know exactly how this is going to perform with speakers, because it's that in this. So let's find out
Your memories, your attachment.
how it performs with headphones. Do I really need to get anything else but Fostex out to really test? Now this is a T20s, which are just as hard to drive as the T50s, but these are the open backs, so you get a little more low end, which that video should have come out by this point. Down. I'm actually going to lower foobar as well. It's like a double safety net. So, okay, put that up. I'm going to put this up. See, here's the thing. Maxed power, maximum power, fully up there, playing Uncle's Inside. That doesn't sound right, but let's get to it. Yeah, basement jacks. Maximum power, and it's loud, but yeah, the last like 45% of this knob turn doesn't do shit. It doesn't get any louder. Half is probably what everyone's gonna use. I'm gonna go like, and it gets like 8% louder. So, not the most powerful headphone amp. I know for a fact. SA6 for $50. So, you could buy the combo just to keep life simple. It will power the Mark IIIs. It'll power them at full tilt. The problem with powering at full tilt, something like this with a combo, is that when you have it up and then do that, your $1,000 Swedish speakers are all of a sudden exploding. And if you had it up to full tilt and it got pulled out, or you forgot about it and then pulled it out, or you paused your music, it's quiet, you unplug this, you forget, you unplug. Oh my God. I always think it's better to have two knobs. I want my speakers to be louder, I want my headphones to be louder. You just get a splitter. Feed signal into two devices. You could get the A2 and a SAP6 or a SAP8 or the PHA, PHA, and then you'd have two knobs, or else you wouldn't have a knob with that. But I'm a big fan of knobs. I love knobs. I'm a knob guy. I'm not a knob feel guy, but I want to be able to look at it and go, my headphones are now not playing. Hell, my headphones are now off. Raise my speakers. I don't want to listen to speakers anymore. Power, power. 2 units. When you go combination, was it work? Yeah. Is it convenient? Other than having that? Yes. I know the speaker amp is good. I have to say this, I did notice a slight whine when I had this plugged in on that desk. On this desk, I'm not noticing the whine. On that desk through the 530s, I noticed a whine. So it's probably really, really picky. Either that was my interface doing it, or the power supply, the plug over there versus the plug over here through the cleaner. I'm not sure. But right now, yeah. Unplug. Oh shit. Alright, let's just pause that and raise the volume. Nothing. Quiet as a church mouse. So, your 3 choices in front of you here are the most modern, powerful enough amp. It's powerful enough. Let's put it that way. It's got features, it's got tone controls, which you're never going to use anyway because you're like me, because you're listening to me and I'm going to say tone controls are bad. But it's good. I like digital volumes for this, so it's like it's perfect every time. Or let's forget about the 160. It goes to a green standby. I do like that. with the 98. The 98 is just a raw dog. Input, output, volume, done. No features. And is it more powerful than the A2? Hell yeah. So if you're considering the 160 because you want the headphone out, by all means you can do it. If you just absolutely are mindset on, I want speaker and headphone in one box. Done. You buy a decent DAC, you put it over there in the corner, you run some RCAs, you're finished. But if you're a little more inclined to keep things separate, I love separation of things. You get a good DAC, obviously the Emotiva doesn't count, but something like the Sanskrit, the $100 Sanskrit, Ship Madi. I made up my DAC amplifier headphone list, and DACs don't exist between $30 and $100. There's nothing. So you're going to be looking to spend $100 on a DAC. And then once you have that DAC, you've got a set of RCA splitters, and you feed all the devices that need signal. So you'd get a headphone amp, whatever the hell it is, a speaker amp, whatever the hell that is. Feed them both, 2 knobs, 2 powers, everything's separate. That's the way I like it. This works. You know, I've tested a couple of these, the toppings I did back in the day, and they were terrible. So this actually has power. It should have more power, considering what the fuck is inside of it. But and it's pretty clean. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say if I actually sat with this for a week and shot it off between separate headphone amplifiers, even the cheap ones, that I'd probably prefer the cheap ones. Because I know how this is working. This isn't switching to a separate amplifier. Like the Mini 5 actually had a completely different attitude once you plugged headphones in. And this doesn't. This is just taking those major fuck all things and running it through a series of resistors down to your headphones, which can screw things up. Impedance matching and everything gets fucked up. So the 98 gets an approve. The A2 gets an approve. The 160 is sort of like, I don't see the need for $33. If you just want to throw in a headphone amp, fine. But there are better headphone amps for a little bit more. $50 get you this, I think. And then if you want to go up to 100, you can get, there's the SA98, which is the square one, like the rectangle one. There's the K5. There's the Madi. No, I'm sorry, there's the Magni. There's quite a few. So yes, maybe. Power bricks. Red dresses. Good.